ethics I forgot to put in my slide, but the situation of this program reminded me of that ethics. And I'm going to say it first before we follow up with our slide. That we are having a business as Muslims. Our business must be Salat compliant. Salat compliance in businesses is well mentioned in the Quran. Surah Al-Jum'ah, Allah says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع. Allah mentions when you hear that Salat has been called to on Jum'ah. Yawm al-Jum'ah in this verse, in the usul text, we call it mafhum al-laqab. Doesn't mean when they call to prayer in Yawm al-Sabt or Yawm al-Ahad, you will not go. Wherever you are and you hear adhan, fas'aw ila dhikrillah. Move on to giving the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Specifically, وَذَرُوا الْبَيْعَ, say off business. Whatever business that you are doing and it does not allow your salat as it is expected, it is not a good business. I read a post some time ago on LinkedIn where a sister was very happy that where she is working now allows her to pray at Wendy. And I was moved to write after reading this post, Sharia compliant office environment. When I say Sharia compliant office environment, I mean every office environment, every shop, every business that allows the salah to take its due course. So what we have tried to describe or to bring here today by stopping our activities for salat tells us that this is one of the ethical principles we are promoting. To make sure that our businesses, either you are individual working for yourself or even you are working under a corporate institution, always put your salat at the high level of list. Having said that, I will be continuing from where I've stopped. I was trying to mention some ethical obligations that were referred to in the Quran. And as I've said earlier, we are not going to take much of the time. No riba-friendly businesses. Today we hear Islamic finance. What is the different thing that Islamic finance is giving? The finance is there remains the finance in other sectors. What differentiates Islamic finance from other systems of finance is that it is Sharia compliance. And one of the major determinants of Sharia compliance is that it is interest-free. That is why here in Nigeria we say non-interest financial institutions. It doesn't mean that it is only interest that we are going to go away with. We are going away from any other things. But interest, riba, is the major prohibitant in financial transactions. And in fact, some scholars, according to a hadith, riba is beyond the literal meaning of interest. Every unethical financial arrangements, any business activity that has lies and cheating as substances, it is even called a riba-based business. So we should stay away from riba. Our Muslim communities across the globe, we're all fleeing from riba environments. And that is what gives us today what we call Islamic financial institutions. So our businesses should not be aligning with riba, should not be aligning with gharar, uncertainty. Uncertainty in what you are going to sell. Uncertainty in the conditions that would bind you and the contractual party, and other ways that you can have any forms of uncertainty. In Muslim, Hadith Jabir, he reported that the Prophet ﷺ naha an bai'il gharar. the Prophet prohibits any forms of transactions that allows uncertainty. Also, we should promote what we call Islamic social responsibility. Today they come and tell us corporate social responsibility. And some of you are boasting outside. Look, this is what they call corporate social responsibility. It is actually Islamic social responsibility. They tell you how to give back to the society. It has been promoted by Islam. You have zakat. One of the professors of Islamic finance said that Islamic social finance has more than 22 social financial instruments through which we can give back to the society. So what they call corporate social responsibility is not actually corporate. It is actually Islamic social responsibility. And it means that you give back from your earnings if you are not zakatable. You have not got the nisab, where are sadaqat? Sometimes by trying to profit less, you are giving back to the society. And it is one of those ethics that we should try to maintain in business activities. Trying to give back to the society via zakat, sadaqat, hiba, and all other forms of Islamic social finance instruments. Accountability. When I say accountability here, it means that you should be very ready to be accountable for the source of your income. The business you are floating today, can you be very sure of what is the source of this business? Is it a source that is coming from a halal part or is coming from haram place? So our source of business should be something we are ready to be accounted for. In the hadith that is very, very popular, khamsan qabla khamsan, that you should be able to take care of 5 things before 5 things. Among those 5 things, and that you take care of your wealth. You'll be asked, you will be responsible for your wealth. Amalihi min hayna iktasabahu wa fima anfaqahu. The business, the capital of your business, where did you get the capital? What is the source? And for where you are spending the capital. So accountability in our businesses, because we have said earlier that these businesses also aligns with our religion. It is not an ordinary business entity. It's a religious linked activity. So we will be accountable for where we have been able to raise the money for the business, and of course, where we are channeling whatever is coming out of it. We should be having respectful conduct in our businesses. And respectful conduct here actually replicates what they call today customer service. Islam has directly requests that when you are selling or when you are buying, conduct well with your counterparty. Rahimallahu abidan samhan idha ba'a wa idha ishtara wa idha iqtada. May Allah be merciful to someone who, when he sells respectfully. When he buys respectfully. Someone, when he wants to claim his loan, he claims it respectfully. So customers' respect, customers' service has been well proved and promoted by Islam. We have benevolence. I'm still coming to benevolence. And we have promoting Islamic promoting Islamic ethical image. This part of this ethic, I just put it yesterday. Today we have many Muslims believing that if your business is literally Islamic compliant, by the Sharia advisor has told you that this Murabaha entity is going well. What is your image? Many of us today, especially the women among us, believe by the new trend in the environment that your brand will not sell except by the infiltration of music, of dancing, of the likes. This image of Islam is not being put on the right side by you. Sometime around 2023, a particular non-interest bank in Nigeria, they approached the CBA. They approached their Sharia advisors. They want to sell a particular product. And the product in paper goes well, the Sharia compliant product. And now they're not using a marketing strategy. They want to market the product. And they place a particular woman that does not represent Islam, that does not represent Islamic image. She does not dress Islamically. I'm not even sure if she's a Muslim. Now they pass this product through their Sharia scholars. And the Sharia scholars pulled down the certification that we are not going to allow you go with this product. Not because the product does not certify the Sharia compliance requirements, but the product's marketing does not certify the Sharia compliance and the imagery of Islamic finance. Many of us today, we sell good things. We sell halal products. But we are not trying to market these halal products with an image that does not represent Islam. Many of us believe music is haram. Yes. Almost everybody now sells their products in TikTok, in IGs and other platforms with music. Compulsory, it must be music. And how do you convince us you are not even listening to this music? We have to maintain that while promoting our brands, while promoting our businesses, we should never go away by maintaining the image of Islam. And that is one of those ethics that we are expected to take into consideration. Al-Ihsan. Here, Al-Ihsan, I'm going to quote Al-Imam Al-Ghazali, alayhi rahmatullah. Al-Ghazali in Al-Ihya, he was giving us an explanation about Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan, and how we are going to promote al-adl and al-ihsan in businesses. What is al-adl? To him, al-adl is that, please come back. Al-adl is that you give what is beneficial to the client, even though it is not obligatory. Given what is beneficial, it is due. Like for example, I have bargained with you that look, I'm going to sell this for you for 20,000 naira, and he agrees. And after he has concluded the agreement, I now gave him that 20,000 naira. That is al-adl. The agreement that we had together is that this deal is for 20,000 naira. Giving him the 20,000 naira he requested, that as was agreed for, is al-adl. While in business, as Muslims, adl is the minimum requirement. The minimum requirement in our business activities, that we should maintain minimally the adl requirement. That given what is due to him, you should also take what is due to you. But there's an additional requirement. As Muslims, and that is what I've said earlier when I was trying to give you the meaning of the excellence, al-itqan, to do more than expected, to give more than bargained for. And that tells about the excellence that the Prophet has promoted. When Al-Ghazali was telling us the al-ihsan, al-ihsan is giving, please go, let's try this. Al-ihsan is that you're giving what is not even expected of you, not even your whole right to give, not a requirement of the agreement, but giving more than expected. I'm giving you an example. For example, you see someone selling water in the traffic, selling pure water. How much is he going to gain in selling pure water? Some of you will even be pricing pure water on the traffic. 2 naira. You can give out these things. They are not begging. They are now coming to you in the traffic trying to sell. And that is the best thing they could do. If he has not told you that this water is sold for 350 naira, nothing stops you from buying it for 300 naira. Buying it for 300 naira is not adil. It's beyond adil. That is the ihsan. If you have bought it for just the 50 naira that was agreed for, that is the adil. And in our business entities and practices, we should try to walk beyond the adil, at least to have elements of ihsan in our business activities. And there are manifestations through which we can build ihsan while having a business. Al-Ghazali mentioned 6. I'm mentioning 5 here. All of the manifestations of al-ihsan in businesses, making profit as little as possible, or foregoing profit, sometimes for better social reasons. You may decide to forego your profit, when to try to bring a social benefit to the other party involved. Sometimes being magnanimous while transacting with the poor. Sometimes by paying him more than what he considers to be the proper price. And it is also part of benevolence that the rich people sometimes will not need to be exorbitantly making profits. If you are rich, you may decide not even to go as customary profit as others, just to make your profit sharing a benevolent one. Also, in loan contracts, one must act benevolently by giving the debtors more time to pay. This was mentioned in the Quran. وَإِنْ كَانَ ذُو عُسْرَةٍ فَنَظِرَةٌ إِلَى مَيْسَرَةٍ. If your debtor is in a problem, he has issue, is having difficulty in repaying in the time he has earlier agreed to pay, you can wait for him. You can reschedule with him إِلَى مَيْسَرَةٍ till when he has time and power to repay. Even sometimes, if you believe that this man wants to pay but he has not been able to pay, وَأَنْ تَصَدَّقُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. You can give it out to him. Genuinely, you want to pay, but you cannot pay. This is one of the manifestations of al-ihsan. Also, it is a part of benevolence that goods and products that earlier purchased are allowed to be returned. We called this al-iqala. In the hadith, man aqala nadiman. Whoever allows someone that wants to return his goods, has purchased it, after a while he thinks that I'm not interested in it, I want to return it. If you allow him, yes, you have that option of not taking it back. But if you allow him to return it back, it's one of the benevolent activities. In fact, in another hadith, akilu dhawil ayhati atharatihim. The Prophet allowed and instructed you that if you see someone that has bought something from you and is a good person, you have not seen him with bad characters, and he came back to you telling you that, please, I'm not sure I need this thing again. Can I just give you back? I give my money. Please give it back to him. Let him have his money back. Doing that is not wajib, not compulsory. It's not hard, but doing that is the best you could do. And that is one of those ethical promotions and obligations in Islam. And lastly here, it is also an act of benevolence. As a debtor, you take a loan. The agreement is to pay after 2 months. If you have that loan after a month, paying in that time is also a form of benevolence. After we have had all these ethical obligations, recommendations, values in Islam, I'm going to let's go to the last slide. In the last slides, I'm going to quote 2 quotes. One from Umar ibn Khattab anhu, and the other quote was from Imam al-Ghazali rahmatullahi alayhi. This hadith is very, very popular. I'm going to bring it again for a reminder. A witness came to Umar and he testified in a case. Umar had requested him to present a witness who knows him well. The man brought a man who claimed to know him. Umar asked him, Are you his closest neighbor who knows he's going and coming? And the man replied, no. Umar asked again, have you traveled with him? And the response was no. He asked again, have you dealt with him in matters relating to money? And the response was also no. Umar said to him, oh, I think you just saw him praying in the mosque. You saw him reading the Quran. You saw him lowering his head. And as a form of ibadah. The man said yes. And Umar responded, you don't know him. And you should go and look for another person that can testify for you. And then Umar said that you will need to bring someone that has traveled and has transacted with him. Because he believes transactions, having transactional engagement with a brother and being able to scale through defines where sometimes how a man could be qualified. either being ethically compliant or no. Al-Imam al-Ghazali took many pages in his book Al-Ihya Ulumuddin discussing how the Salaf used to do, what are their ethical values, what they do during businesses, things that will make you cry for yourself that these are our Salaf. After he has mentioned many of those reports, this is his remark. He said, these are ways through which the Salaf trade, which has unfortunately faded away today. Whoever revives them, revives the Sunnah. Reviving Sunnah also includes reviving Sunnah in the businesses. When you see scholars that are busy in trying to take you out of riba, they are also reviving the Sunnah. Eating riba is not an ordinary sin. No. Getting yourself in riba-based transactions is not an ordinary sin. A big sin with which Allah has announced war to his eater. If someone is now found specializing in how to take Muslims away of riba eating, they are also reviving a part of the Prophet Sunnah. Al-Ghazali said, these are the Sunnah of the Salaf. And whoever revives this Sunnah of ethical conduct in businesses is the one that should also be assumed of a Sunnah reviver. And he said, and I quote, in a nutshell, business is the criterion for knowing righteous people, and upon it, man's religion and integrity are measured. And I believe with all we have had, yes, we have had different lectures, and we are still going to have other lectures on ethics in businesses. It is not how much you have heard, but how we are trying to make those we are hearing impactful in our doings and our dealings. And I pray, inshallah, what we have heard today, our different scholars and resource persons would also have values to what you have been hearing. And in last note, I'm going to pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses those behind this organization, and that this does not go to extinction, inshallah. هذا وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
جزاكم الله خير الجزاء. جزاكم الله خير الجزاء. Thank you so very much.